wave my hand. No. When do I wave my hand?
You wave your hand and you hit go live as soon as you see your hand go across the screen.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live already. Okay.
We're live. There we go. Finally, we made it. Oof. Oh, that took a while.
Yeah. Well, here, let's get this out of the way. If you guys are watching live, hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments below. Coming from an undisclosed location right now. Whiskey's flowing, so clearly you can see that.
Yeah. There's nobody here. Like, what are they going to do? There's nobody here. Why ask anybody?
But they're going to watch later, and then they're going to hashtag replay, and then that engagement is going to push it up there, and other people can see it, and they'll get all the value that we're hopefully going to bring tonight.
Right. I got it. Let me bring this up so we make sure we get comments in here and questions. So everybody, welcome to Whiskey Thursday, Matt and Shayne edition.
Matt and Shayne edition, Q&A. We're going to have a good time. I'm sending out the chatbot broadcast right now. So if you're on our subscriber list, get ready to get spammed. No, I'm just kidding. But for real.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. I shouldn't take it personally, but I always do as soon as somebody unsubscribes. They're like, I don't want to hear from you anymore. And I'm like, oh. But like, is what it is, right?
we have people that have subscribed to our chatbot that don't want to hear from us.
Yeah, it happens. We have unsubscribers. I'm going to kick them out of the group. Let me find them.
Let's kick them out. Lock them out of the group.
You're not going to let me spam you? You're done. Speaking of the group, Shayne, can we just address, we just crossed 7,000 members.
Yeah, you saw that, eh?
We just crossed 7,000 members. What was that, last night, late night?
I think it was early this morning.
Well, no, this morning?
It was today. It was when I added like, a dozen people.
Yeah, we had to add like 14
like
Indian spammers to get there, but like we got there, right? So watch out for the spam. It's coming at you. It's a real thing.
Actually, there was somebody in the group that had joined the group, and then I think he added 58 members.
I love it. As long as
friends, right?
Yeah, as long as they're actually getting value, right? So Scott says replay. Awesome, Scott. You're actually live, but we appreciate it. Chris is watching with us. Luke's here. Brent is here. Let's see. Shayne, do you like my new background?
Background's epic, man.
Right?
That's real. That's finally real.
It is real. It's finally real.
So we actually had, so I think it was Brandon Wong that was on the, so we had the masterclass today, right, with Anthony. By the way, anybody that missed it and you're going to go and catch the replays and the recordings, which will be posted tomorrow. Excellent. It's tons of value. The Q&A was, I think, was really, really good. We went from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock. So 2 hours. Which is, we thought for sure would be, because it was an update, right? Maybe 30 minutes or so. And then, maybe like 30 minutes of Q&A, but the Q&A just went on for a long time. And Anthony added a ton of value. But Brandon, I think it was Brandon Wong that was on. His background, I don't know what he was using, but his background was epic. It was basically it looked like an office space, right? And people talking about it's like, wow, nice office. And it's like, yeah, it's not real.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
Jimmy says the masterclass with Anthony was great. All caps, exclamation points.
Good stuff. Awesome, Jimmy. Glad you were there.
Now, you guys updated it. I wasn't there, but you gave the update with all the new copy and the images and so on. That's getting us $2 to $5, I should say.
Realistically, $5 leads up to California. Like, Anthony's seen $10 to $11 leads in California. But big difference from the $30 leads that, $25 to $30 leads that he was getting and other people were.
What's the quality been like for what they're seeing? Because, when we were seeing, motivated sellers, like these are so high level compared to a regular buyer lead.
Yeah, and from my understanding, the quality has been relatively good. Anthony's been seeing some pretty good success with them. 40% response rate. A couple of the guys that were in the test group, they're seeing some good results as well, and good responses. But people are still trying to figure out how to get the renters out of that their leads, right, that are coming in. So
yeah,
Anthony gave some good ideas around that on building up data and your custom audiences and things like that. So
makes sense.
Which is also something we talk a lot about inside the beta group.
Well, and I mean, we're using custom audiences we're using custom audiences in so many places right now, because for those who don't know, we have our hands in a lot of pots, right? But custom audiences, I mean, they are beast. Like once you hit right around 1,000 leads and you start generating a custom lookalike audience, like it just takes your game to a new level. You can see your lead cost drop. Sometimes it goes up, but oftentimes it'll drop, and we'll get a lot higher quality lead, right? Because we can base that lookalike on whatever we want, whatever's been coming in. So if we're asking certain questions, right? Are you a homeowner? We can only use the homeowners to create that lookalike audience. Are you planning to move now, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, blah, blah, blah? We can only use the now people and create a lookalike audience for other people who are looking to move now. Like there's so much power in that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think right now with the size of our lookalike audience is now pretty big. It's much easier now, but I know that we're leveraging data from all of our clients across, even using clients from the US into clients in Canada as well. We're still leveraging the same data.
Right, because they want the same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's super powerful.
Yeah.
And tonight, getting into tonight's episode, Luke says 1%. What did he say? Luke says 1% works in some audiences. Yeah. Honestly, I'll test multiple lookalike audiences and multiple lookalike combinations until I find which one's going to work. And they don't always work, but they often do, right? And if they don't initially, like when I have more data, they almost always do. So.
Yeah, and it's really interesting too, because we've been able to, we've had large enough budgets where we've been able to test like 1% to through 10% as well.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is like you'll see some markets where 1% will work really well, and then a market that's 10 hours away, the 3 to 4% works better, and then another market, the 10% is working better, and so we're seeing. I mean, again, it just goes back to testing.
Yeah, you always have to be testing.
Yeah, and then 2 months go by, and then your lookalikes stop working as well.
There you go. You never know, and then you got to restart your campaign.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so if you guys are watching live right now, the plan tonight is do a Q&A for all the questions that you have, all the questions we're getting inside the group, as well as a couple of topics that we like and we want to talk about. So if you guys are into that, if that's cool, if you want to stick around and do that, type hashtag Q&A. Q&A. Hashtag Q&A.
Q. Why don't you spell it out?
Yeah, right. But if you guys want to see that, hashtag Q&A. Otherwise, I guess, I don't know. What's the backup plan if they don't want to see that?
Backup plan. Well, we got a couple topics here we can talk about.
There you go.
Which is great. Luke says he launched his first affiliate ads today. Awesome, Luke. He loves lookalike audiences. So do we.
Yep.
Let's see here. Jimmy says, I'll take the future buyers. I'm MS renters all day long. Okay, sure. I need renters all day long. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a couple agents out there that'll do that. A lot of them want that instant gratification. They want somebody who's ready now. But I mean, if you work with renters for a year, like you're going to start seeing them convert in the next year, 2, 3 years when they get out of that place and they're ready to buy. Oftentimes. So definitely a strategy.
Yeah. And I actually worked with an agent who works with a lot of renters.
Yeah.
And it's tough at first because, his referral network is just massive. He really knows how to work that type of lead. And so he's not, he's obviously, trying to find rental properties for his clients, but he's also leveraging those clients to get family members, to get, friends, and try to get, buyers and listings from that immediate audience or that immediate, referral network.
How's my lighting, by the way? I thought this would be better, but I'm not 100% sure it is.
100% terrible.
Is it better
Yeah,
if I go this route?
No,
it's worse. Okay.
No, it's worse.
All right. It's what I have to work with.
As soon as the background, you need prop up your phone with the camera, with the flashlight on.
That's a good idea.
That'll do it.
All right.
Put it under your chin.
Let's see here. Let's see here. In the meantime, do we have any questions? Are people hashtagging Q&A, or are we not getting that? People not interested?
I have no idea. Nope, nobody's interested. So we're done. So that's fine. We got a few things here we can talk about, which is good. Scott asked, actually, any tips for testing for clients with fairly small budget? I mean, for smaller budgets, like listing campaigns work really well for generating some low cost leads. You don't typically need a very large budget for those. And, we do have some other specific campaigns that we use that are taught inside the beta program that, you can get away with $150 to $200 budget and, generate anywhere between, 50 to 200 leads without problem.
See if this works.
Ooh.
Look like I'm doing a campfire story.
That's fine. That's good.
All right.
That looks fine.
All right, we'll do it.
Any thoughts about testing clients with smaller budgets?
Smaller budgets. Yeah, I have no problem with it. I mean, it depends on the budget. 300 is kind of my minimum as far as what I'm going to be willing to work with in ad spend. But I mean, $300, it's basically $10 a day. So you can definitely get some results, especially if you're running the October 3rd masterclass foreclosure. You'll get results. So no problem doing it.
And like I said, listings as well work well. If you got a client with, a couple listings, you can advertise those, generate some leads. They typically work fairly well. As long as they're not like $1 million properties in an area that's $300,000, then you should typically be able to generate some decent leads out of that.
Makes sense.
Makes sense?
Oh, makes sense.
Good stuff.
Also, where are you guys watching from? Let us know. I'm currently in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Shane is currently in?
Still in Toronto.
Still in Toronto. Sorry. I forgive you.
I've been here for the past, it's been too long now.
I heard somebody say something about winter because it was cold in Michigan the other day. And they were like, you know what? Winter is kind of like Justin Bieber. What did they say? It's kind of like Justin Bieber. Like it was cute at first, but now it needs to go back to Canada. It's like
actually, it's been really nice here, actually. So it's been, sunny, warm, t-shirt weather right now. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It just doesn't last. Like we're going to be, 3 months of this, and then it's going to be back to, jackets and wearing pants. So
Yeah, I know. I bought shorts this year for vacation. I'm like, I haven't bought shorts in I don't know how long, man. Because it's just like, what's the point? Like, you've got so little summer, and then all of a sudden you're in fall and winter again. It's Michigan.
So we got Alina here from Los Angeles, Danielle from Atlanta, Scott, Northern Ontario. Scott, where are you from? That's interesting. Birmingham, Donald is from, and Cheryl, BK all day. Where's BK?
BK? She's at a Burger King?
Burger King. Okay, good stuff.
Good job.
Awesome.
I guess I didn't know they had Wi-Fi, but like legit.
Cheyenne from Vancouver. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in, joining us. Small thing. Okay, so Scott, you're from Thunder Bay. Good stuff. Awesome. Yeah, so no questions, but let's talk about a few things here because I think that there's been some questions that have been coming up inside the group. There's been questions inside the private group as well. Questions that come up on our coaching calls that we do. So part of our beta program, we also do coaching calls. And then, just random stuff that does pop up. And one of the biggest things, obviously, always comes up, which is very, very common, is how do I get more clients? How to grow my business? How do I scale my business? How do I go from 5 to 30 clients? How do I go from no clients to 5 clients, or how to get my first client? All of these things, right? So I think client acquisition is always a huge topic.
Well, and I'll give my answer that I give everybody: real estate agent, real estate marketer, doesn't matter. Talk to 20 new people every day. And as far as the method, like, you pick. I don't care if you want to go to Walmart, right? And try and find real estate agents there. Or if you're a real estate agent, if you want to find potential home buyers and sellers, right? Like, if you just want to walk around, just talk to 20 people every day, 20 new people every day. And I don't think we'll see as many questions about client acquisition. Well, we might see questions about closing, but not acquisition.
Yeah, and I think this is a common issue with marketers as well. I mean, I know when I started in this game, part of my daily routine was trying to learn as much as possible, read as many posts as possible, trying to figure out things, work in the ads manager, try to figure out my zaps, try to figure out this and that, and how to work active campaign, all these other things, right?
Right.
And then spend a half an hour a day, looking for clients, which is probably not the right way of doing things. Now, obviously when you're just getting started and you're trying to learn things, that might be a little bit different. But once you're in that mode where you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing, or at least, I have an idea of what the concepts are, I need to start acquiring clients.
And I think that is, like, right, what you just said is something that they struggle with as agents, as marketers. Like, everybody struggles in that area. Like, it's almost imposter syndrome. Like, I don't completely know this stuff yet, but so I don't want to go get clients. No, you need to start getting clients immediately. Okay. You need to start getting your clients immediately. And it's okay if you fail at it, right? It's okay if you blow meetings, right? Because the goal is to build your skills. All right. The Facebook ad side of it is, if you're in the beta group, you've got all of our ads library. So there's no issue, right? If you're not, you can just look through the group and you'll find copy for doing listings, for doing homes lists, stuff like that, right? Homes lists and listings are easy go-tos if you don't have other opportunities, So, like, the ad side of it for real estate, as far as I'm concerned, in any industry, is the easiest side of it. When you're running Facebook ads for lead generation, it's the easiest side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be curious to know too, for people that are watching, comment down below if you're a marketer or a real estate agent. I'd like to know actually how many real estate agents we have on tonight, and then how many marketers we actually have on. Typically, we have more marketers, but I'd be interested to know how many agents we have here tonight. And also, I'd be really curious to know how long you've been in business for. So how long you've been either running your agency, how long have you been a real estate agent, and then dive in a little bit more into ideas on how to acquire more clients, or try to find more business if you're a real estate agent. And this is an area that Matt's really good with, basically getting people on track to get more closings, get more listings, and it applies, the same methods apply to the agency side of things as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if you're watching, guys, like the video, heart the video, smile, laugh, whatever, wow, cry, be mad, whatever it is. Like, let's see some engagement on this, because the more people that engage, the more people that see this, and the more people we can help. So let's see here. We've got Daniel's an agent, Alina's an agent. Cheyenne is a marketer for 3 years now. Nice. You've been around the block a couple times.
And I recognize some of the other people here. We got a bunch of marketers here on as well. Cheryl, agent, marketer, spend most of my time marketing, 2.5 years for both. That's awesome.
Cheryl, I didn't know you were an agent. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think she started as an agent and decided, this is too hard. Let me be a marketer because it seems easier.
Well, and they're both equally difficult, and they both have different rewards, right? So, like, I started out as an agent. I got into this marketing side because I picked up the director of lead generation or basically the, director of, I don't know. Basically, I was in charge of lead generation for a large team. And when I did that, like, I really realized, like, okay, I enjoy being behind the scenes. Like, I don't want to be out there at listing appointments and buyer's appointments. Like, I enjoy being behind the scenes and helping other people to succeed, right? So for a lot of people, like, they might enjoy being at the listing appointment, at the buyer appointment, and that's great. Like, everybody has their own path, and you kind of have to decide that for yourself, because people ask that all the time. Like, if you're an agent, why don't you do this for yourself? Well, I don't enjoy that side.
Well,
right?
The other thing too is, I mean, being a real estate agent it's a tough job. There's nothing easy about being a real estate agent.
True.
It's a really, really tough job, And yeah, Cheryl says, yep, I prefer sitting at my laptop to sitting at an open house. So,
yeah, I mean, if I had to look at the two, I would almost say being an agent was, for me personally, it was easier than doing the marketing side, because keeping other agents happy, keeping them closing and converting leads is tougher than doing it yourself, right? Because you can go out there, you can close the deal, you can, lock up multiple listings and make a bunch of money. But as the marketer, you don't get all that control. You can only generate the leads, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit after that, but not much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, as being licensed for 7 years now, and being a marketer, like, the marketer role was just a better fit. I enjoy it more. It's not about what's easier and so on. Saying that, I don't think I've closed a deal in 3 years. I just keep my license active because I'm like, I have it. Why not? Right.
Well, and as a marketer too, I think it brings a lot of, did I lose my camera? Sorry.
Let's see. Yep,
No,
you did.
I lost my camera. Sorry.
Yeah, I keep mine on my computer so I don't lose it.
Hang on. Sorry, guys. It's like,
technical difficulties. Hashtag come on, Shane.
I think it's my USB port, actually.
Is it? Well, we'll swap out the USB port.
Oh my God.
Got like 9 of them in the computer nowadays.
Okay, I'll be right back. Let me just stop the, oh no, I can't stop this.
All right, in the meantime, let me dive in here and we'll see if we got some questions that I can get to. All the way to the top. Live from Houston. Congrats. Awesome, Emiliano. Let's see here.
There we go.
Questions. What kind of questions do you guys have? It doesn't matter if it's an agent or a marketer question. We're open to them. Let's see. Nope, we answered that one.
So I'd be interested. So just back on this topic about client acquisition or generating more business or growing your business or all this stuff. I'd be really interested to know what how many hours a day people are working. So on your
that's a great question, because
I think a lot of people. I mean, if you're really an entrepreneur and you're trying to grow a business, I mean, you got to put the work into it, right? Like, working 2-3 hours a day is not going to cut it unless that's, you're happy with where you're at and you're not looking to grow. The majority of, the majority of entrepreneurs are trying to grow their businesses and they're trying to get to the next level and so on. But I'd be really curious to know the people that have answered, whether you're an agent or a marketer, how many hours a day you're working on your business. And then I guess a follow-up question to that is, if you are looking to grow your business, if you are looking to acquire more clients, and again, I'm bringing this up because 80% of our questions that come up are about client acquisition. How do I grow my business? Brand new marketer starts up. How do I get more clients? We get questions from agents all the time. How do I get more customers? How do I close more deals? How do I get more listings? And, part of it is, Donald here, 8 hours a day, he's working on his business. That's awesome. I'd be curious to know, other people here, how many hours are you working on your business? And then, so, the follow-up question to that is, how many hours a day are you spending on prospecting? So how many hours a day are you going out, talking to people, whether that is, setting up your cold email campaigns or reaching out to people on Facebook or doing those cold calls or going to events, looking for more clients, whatever method that is, how many hours a day are you doing that part of the business to allow you to get more customers.
Aaron says, that's the stage that I'm in, from agent to marketer. I love the seller class recording coming up. I believe it is. Matt, I love that you're sharing this. Thank you. Aaron's a funny one, right? Because Aaron, initially when you and I started talking, I believe you were trying to recruit me for EXP, right? And like, nothing against EXP or KW or whoever I'm with. I'm just like, I'm not practicing. So like, it's not a big deal who I hang my license with right now. But at the same time, it takes work to go move it and change it. And I have networks where I'm at, right? So I don't focus on doing that. But I love that you're actually looking at transitioning from an agent to a marketer, right? Because I think a lot of the agents at EXP have opportunities in the marketing realm. And we have people in our student program who are crushing it with EXP from the marketing standpoint, as well as the recruiting standpoint, because we teach agent recruiting as well, right?
Right.
So they can take that, what you'd normally offer to a brokerage, they can take that and they can run with it as an EXP agent and move forward with that. Because for those who aren't familiar, like EXP, KW, Exit, I believe, all kind of have like a small MLM structure to the back end of them. That's kind of like a bonus, right? So it's not their main focus. Their main focus is selling real estate. They have that as an opportunity. And it's really cool for those of you who are in the student program and using what we're teaching to go back and do that. He says, LOL, nah. EXP is getting a bad rap though. I'm not familiar. You know, I don't stay up to date as much as I should as far as which brokerages are doing whatnot. He says he still is trying to recruit me. I love it. I love it. Yeah, one of the cool things about being a marketer though, like, look where I'm at right now. Like,
nobody can see your background.
Oh, you can't? Okay. Well, you can see like here, there's the beach, right?
It looks like a river.
Okay. It looks like I'm not on a river. What do you think this is? But anyways, like behind me like is literally the beach.
It looks like the Detroit River.
Gosh. No, but behind me is the beach. I'm in Myrtle Beach. And I'm able to do my job, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do that as an agent unless I built a massive team, which is, again, not something I wanted to do as an agent.
I got to chime in here for a second because you could still 100% do this as an agent. But like you basically have to build a business that allows you to take off in the winters. I know a lot of agents.
Well, there are agents that do that where they're licensed. I know agents licensed in Michigan and Florida, and they work in Florida in the winter, Michigan in the summer, right?
Or they don't work in the winters.
Well, not all of them do.
Like the market here is very, very seasonal. The agents don't work in the winters, and they're taking off.
Shane. That I gotta cut in now. Because it's a myth, right? Like winters were my best months because so many agents do bail out. And they're like, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Cali, whatever it is. Like, they don't want to work during the winter months. They don't want to be in a cold area. And so they take that off and they work really hard in the summer. Like, I worked really hard all year long. And the winters ended up being my best months because there was so little competition, right? Like, I have more listings expiring than any other time of the year and not nearly the competition. Like, it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying what I'm responding to is the fact that you said, hey, I'm a marketer. Look I'm at the beach. I know plenty of agents that are at the beach in the winters.
Right.
Like, and I know plenty of agents that are making a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Too. And they can, so they can take very, time very off and all that. I mean, yeah. I think the difference is like, I didn't take any time off. I wasn't like, hey guys, I'm not going to do this stuff. Right. Like, I'm still going to do basically everything we're working on. But I didn't have to take time off because I've got it set up that way, which is tougher to do as an agent. Not that you can't, but it is tougher. Like I said, when you build a team, you can totally do it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you got your team taking care of this stuff. You can take tons of vacations. I know agents that are taking 12 vacations a year. No joke. Right.
So let's get back to this client acquisition thing, because I want to kind of wrap that point up, because again, this question comes up a lot. Inside of our group, it always comes up on our coaching.
Inside the private group, inside the coaching calls, inside the public group.
Every time we do a private coaching call or a one-on-one coaching call, growing your business or trying to scale your business or getting more clients or what's the best client acquisition method, all these questions come up. It's constant, right? It's probably the number one question. Nobody, like, because we offer all the ads, the next thing is like, well, how do I get customers, right? So, and I've always been a big believer in, and I know this, I know this works because as soon as I implement it, all of a sudden I just get a flood of customers. I know when you do it, you get a flood of customers. And the idea is that if you're working 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, you should be spending 70. So depending on whether or not where you're at in your business, but if you're a brand new marketer, so if you're a brand new marketer watching right now, and you're just getting into this and you want to get clients, you need to be spending at least 75 to 80% of your day on acquisition.
Yeah.
On client acquisition. And that means talking.
Well, it's the same thing if you're an agent.
And right. Well, I'm talking from a marketer's, like a marketing perspective or marketer's perspective, right? And same as an agent as well, right? Like this is what you should be doing is you should be prospecting. And that, that could be, and I guess when I say prospecting, that could be anything from, setting up your cold email campaigns, doing 50 cold calls, during the day, and then reaching out on Facebook and friending people, agents and other people you could be working or other customers, going out to an event on a Thursday, all that, all those tasks are part of that client acquisition.
100%.
And that's where you should be focusing most of your time. If you're not getting clients, it's because you're not talking to enough people. Plain and simple. It's just,
well, if you're having client headaches, chances are it's because you're not acquiring enough clients to choose who you want to work with.
Client headaches.
Right? Like that was something my coach told me.
Inside the private group.
What's that?
I love that post you put in the private group last.
Oh shoot! What did that? I forgot what that said.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it said, but basically it's something along those lines. If you have client, no, it wasn't headaches though, but it's very, very similar to that. Like if you're having problems with your clients, you're not acquiring enough clients. Basically, it's what
to choose who you want to work with.
Yeah, it's very true.
And that's something my coach told me as an agent, right? I mean, I was paying $1,000 a month for coaching as an agent. And, I get on there and we talk about how the week went. And he'd be like, okay, you're complaining about these clients. I'm like, yeah, because they suck. And he'd be like, well, that's because you sucked at lead generation this last week, 90 days ago.
Yeah.
Because if you were generating enough leads, you wouldn't have to work with those clients. You could choose who you want to work with and your life would be a lot better. But
and the other thing about this whole client acquisition thing and growing your business, that part of your business, the client acquisition side of your business, and getting more clients and growing your business by acquiring clients is probably the hardest part of your business.
Right.
That it's very, very difficult. It's not easy to try and talk to people all day long for 6 hours and getting rejected nonstop, and then doing it again the following day, and then the following day.
I'll be right back, Shane. Keep going.
Yeah. So, where you, well, which, I completely ignored you, Matt. What was I saying? So, I for people that are part of our beta program, and if you're watching and you're having a hard time acquiring clients, and you want to continue to grow your business, or you're just starting out and you want to add more clients to your business, I challenge you next week, if you're spending 8 hours a day on your business, so 8 hours total, every day for the next 5 days next week, I challenge you to spend 6 hours of those days on client acquisition and do that for 5 days in a row. And I guarantee you that you'll have clients by the end of the week. There's no doubt in my mind, because when we do this, as soon as we start trying to acquire more clients and we start talking to more people and we do it consistently, we start signing clients again. And it's the client acquisition and prospecting is absolutely mandatory if you want to grow your business. And part of the mistake that I made when I first started doing this is I was too involved on the technology side of things. I was spending most of my time, trying to build Facebook ads. I was trying to, figure out different things, trying to come up with the perfect campaign, all of these things. As soon as I switched from that to client acquisition and talking to more people and putting myself out there, and reaching out to my network, going to events, doing speaking engagements, all of a sudden now I started landing more clients. And so for people that are part of the beta group, I would love for you to do that. Spend the next week, focus most of your time on client acquisition if you want to grow your business and you want to get more clients. And I guarantee you, by the end of next week or the following week, you'll start signing clients without a doubt. It's all about talking. The more people you're going to talk to, the more people you're going to close. I mean, it's, at the end of the day, that's it. Let's just see here if we missed a bunch of questions here while we're waiting for Matt. Let's see. All right. So, Joseph here, good to see you. Agent for 12 years. That's awesome. And I need to, I'll get back to you after this. I just saw a message from you, so I will get back to you.
I'm back.
Woohoo! Awesome. I'm just going through some of my comments here. Chris Puga's here, marketer. That's awesome. Awesome. Nate, another marketer, 7 months. Brad, marketer. I missed a bunch of these.
How many clients are you guys working with if you're a marketer? And if you're an agent, how many listings do you currently have? Because I think as a marketer, you focus on how many clients, right? As an agent, you should be focusing on how many listings are you working with, as well as buyer contracts. But, buyer contracts, they don't all, if you sign a buyer, they're not necessarily going to close like if you sign a listing. Like, as long as you price that thing right, you're golden. Like, things come up, I get that, but majority of the time, I think I closed like 95% of the stuff I had listed.
Yeah, and while you were away, I gave everybody in our beta group a challenge here to spend next week 6 hours a day. If you're working, basically spend 80% of your time on client acquisition for 5 days next week, and guarantee.
And if you're over 10K, figure out how to leverage yourself to have somebody else doing your acquisitions for you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that actually, because this is something else that comes up a lot.
You mean starting their own ISA company?
No,
no, that comes up all the time.
Yeah, that does come up a lot, and I can see why, because the follow-ups are frustrating, and
yeah,
part of this entire business.
Yep. But I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody else who asks. Like, unless you want to run an ISA company, focus on.
Okay, sorry, Matt. I got to answer this question because this is such a good question, and I've thought about this a lot actually. So Scott asks, the best way to keep your spirits up after getting rejected time after time. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? If you're just starting out and you have no clients and this is your first business, okay? And you're getting into this and you're like, okay, I want to be a marketer and I want to be real estate agents. Or I'm a real estate agent and I'm just getting into this and now I'm going to start, focusing on FSBOs and expires because that's what my coach told me, right?
Ashley Kemp just unsubscribed from the bot. Hang on. Ashley Kemp. I got to find her in the group so I can boot her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm just teasing you.
For anybody that missed this, we talked about this when we first started Whiskey Thursday.
Yeah, we said people are unsubscribing and we were like,
unsubscribe from our bot, we're throwing you out of the group. That is it. So we're not going to do that. Honestly, I unsubscribe to all the bots. I find them so freaking annoying. It's crazy. But
we don't really spam. We're pretty good about it.
No, just on Thursdays, we spam the crap out of people.
But no, it's 2 messages. We send you one and then we go, where are you? That's basically it.
I always feel like when I get off Whiskey Thursday, I go look at the the messages I got from you. And it's like, oh, this is so irritating. I want to unsubscribe to my own bot.
Let us know if it's irritating below, and then Shane continue. Continue.
Okay, so if you're just starting out, first business, and you're just getting into this, so the best way that and this may not work for everybody, but the best way is just to keep doing it, right? And know that the more you do this, eventually something will come through. So once something comes through, what you need to do is remember that feeling, because that feeling is what's going to keep you going. So I love that feeling of winning. And there's a very, very specific deal in my life that when I was 22 years old, I landed, like, this is crazy. I sold a telephone system to a fairly large company. It was a $180,000 deal. And I remember the day that deal came in, the purchase order came in on the fax machine, and that was my deal. And I closed that deal.
On the what?
It was just like that
came in on a fax machine.
Yeah, on a fax machine. And back in 2000,
were you riding a dinosaur to work?
2000, I think it was like 2000. No, that would have been 1999 or 2000 or something like that.
Okay.
But the point is that, like, I remember that feeling, of landing that deal, and I get that same rush every time I sign a new contract. Every time. It doesn't matter if it's a $500 deal, a $3,000 deal, a $40,000 deal. That same feeling is there. And so you just need to land that first deal so that it can keep you, motivated to keep doing it. And at least that, for me, that's what has allowed me to just keep talking to more clients. The other thing too is we have to get out of this scarcity mindset, because I think,
Well, what do you mean by that?
So social media has been, I think social media has done a lot of great things, but it's also, for the marketers and even real estate agents, I think there's a lot of bad things about it too. Because number one is you're constantly seeing people that are winning, right? So you're seeing people that are closing big deals. You're seeing people that are getting CPLs for 23 cents, or, posting their results and they're getting leads for, nothing.
Well, I mean, there was somebody who did. Yeah, right? There was just somebody in the group this week that posted something. And you're like, okay, what are you doing? Come on, like.
So or you're seeing real estate agents that are closing deal after deal after deal, and you're struggling to close your first deal. And so because of that, there's a struggle internally. It's like, part of it is that, okay, well, is the market saturated because there's so many marketers in this, and I can't get new business because there's too many people. I saw another post today inside of one of the paid groups, not ours, but somebody else, where the person was talking about how all the marketers are posting free trials for clients and stuff like that. Like, how can I land a client when I've got 15 other marketers posting free trials? I'll never be able to charge anything. And so I think if you get out of this scarcity mindset, or this mindset that the markets are saturated, there's too many marketers. If you get out of that and just, understand that there's so much opportunity out there. It's unbelievable. It's unreal how much opportunity is. We're still, like, even after, like, we've been at this for, almost 3 years now. Yep. And we're still landing deals. Like, we're still closing deals to this day. We're signing clients for $3,000, $5,000, $25,000 in ad spend. Like, it's nonstop. I talked to, another client not long ago that, they're generating, 2 to 3, 4, 5,000 leads a month, not using Facebook. Like, there's still a lot of opportunity out there. Social media seems to really, like, magnify everything, and because you're surrounded by the same people all the time, you've got the same people that are crushing it, you've got the same people out there that are posting the results constantly, and then on the agent side of things might be very similar. I'm not an agent, so I don't really see that, but because you're seeing that all the time, it fucks up with your mind.
It does. And you know what, you got to remember, like, the algorithm pays attention to who you pay attention to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're watching this person, if you're looking at their ads and sitting there and staring at it for a while, like, oh, what are they doing? Right? Like, then all of a sudden you see them everywhere. It's because, like, you're giving it attention. So it's showing it to you again because it thinks that you might be.
Absolutely. So, okay. And so if you're in this mindset, like this mindset of, okay, well, it's just saturated. Like, how am I ever going to make any money? I can't land a client.
Actually, you know what? If you guys are watching, do you feel like this market is saturated? Yes or no? Let us know below. Because I'm curious to see, like, do you feel like this is saturated? Do you not feel like it's saturated? If you do feel like it's saturated, like, what makes you feel that way? What has you concerned about it.
Does that?
Facebook, well, obviously Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook does it because it's like, Jesus Christ, you come to a Facebook group that's dedicated for real estate marketing and 7,000 marketers in that, you're going to feel like, holy, well, maybe not 7,000 marketers, but like when you look at the group and you look at all the posts and it's like, oh my God, all this, like people are getting these types of results. And like, and then you go into, some of the free groups. And then in the free groups, you're seeing like other real estate groups, you're seeing marketers posting like, hey, I'll do trials, or, here are my results. And of course you're going to start feeling like, either maybe not that the market is saturated, but that you may not have an opportunity to tap into the market. So if you're
maybe missed it, right? They might feel like they missed the opportunity.
So if you're brand new at this, or if you're a marketer that's struggling to get more clients, here's another challenge for you. I challenge you to go on Google, search for a local event, a real estate local event. If you can't find one, try to find one that's in the near future, and go to that event and start talking to real estate agents. You will realize how many real estate agents aren't on social media or aren't using Facebook or aren't, they haven't started doing Facebook ads. Like it's such a, there's such a small percentage of real estate agents and marketers that are working with real estate agents. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we've got a couple people saying not at all, not saturated. Saturation doesn't matter if you're the best. Never will be oversaturated. Look at the billions of dollars Facebook made last year from this year has nearly doubled, right? So yeah, I mean, and not only that, but like at that point, you're only talking about Facebook ads, right? We're only talking about Facebook ads.
Yeah.
We're not talking about all the other opportunities that are out there.
Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons why I gravitated. I mean, the two reasons why I gravitated towards marketing for real estate. One of them was obviously because my network had a lot of real estate agents. It was just an easy thing for me. But the other thing is just the sheer size of the opportunity. It's not just real estate agents. It's
not like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the opportunity size is massive, and the turnaround is huge. Unfortunately. So you've got brand new clients all the time.
Yeah. And sometimes it can feel like you're completely like at a disadvantage, right? Because you haven't been doing it as long, or, whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the lead generation is not difficult. The client acquisition is the difficult part. If you can nail that, you're going to crush it.
Absolutely. I'm actually surprised and the only reason why I'm surprised here, and maybe not the right people, like maybe we just don't have the right people watching. But yeah, like,
no, I love you all. Sorry, Shane.
Absolutely. No. And some people are commenting like, Brad, Cheryl, Paul, Kevin, that's
Alina, Aaron.
Yeah, Alina as well. Yeah, and everybody that's sort of engaging here. And I know some of you are more experienced marketers, and you have clients, and you figured out the client side of things. But I'm telling you, one of the biggest questions we get is, how do I get more clients? That's one of the biggest questions we get all the time. What works best? What's the easiest way to get a new client? What's the next best acquisition? It's all that stuff. And the answer is always the same thing. Talk to as many people as you possibly can, whether that is setting up cold email, going to events, nurturing on Facebook, asking for referrals, whatever that is. Just talk to more clients. You will naturally open up more opportunity to land and get more business from it.
100%. We go through a ton of different methods inside of the beta program, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to talking to more people. It all comes down to having more conversations with potential clients.
Absolutely.
It's the same, as far as I'm concerned, in any business. If you want to succeed, you need to have more conversations with potential clients.
Yeah. So Brian here says IG is the next forward looking out 5 years, new home buyers. Yeah. Actually, we know a lot of people crushing it on IG too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, right? You got Instagram, you got Google, you got Bing, you got Snapchat, you got YouTube, you got native ads, you got all the different native ad platforms. I mean, there's so many different methods, right? Again, lead generation is not the issue. Client acquisition is, right?
Yep. Sorry, I'm reading the comments.
No worries. Yeah, that was the answer I was looking for. Yep. It's not like it's a talk show where we got to go back and forth or anything. I see what you mean.
Yeah, no.
And by the way, if you guys hear bikes going by, it's like Bike Fest week right now. So, like, we have a ton of bikers down here. It's pretty wild. So, they're constantly going by, playing loud music. So, if you hear that, that's what that is in the background.
Matt, it sounds incredibly wild.
It is. It's a little bit crazy. Everywhere we've gone so far, there's been like bikers.
That's all I hear. It's like bikes. I
Bikes
haven't heard
and
a single
bikers.
bike since we've started this.
Have you not?
No, not a single one. Absolutely not. The only reason I know about it is because you mentioned it before we got onto the slides. It's the only reason why I know it's Bike Week over there. And you mentioned it again, right?
That's awesome. Let's see. So what kind of questions do we have coming in? I'm like at a disadvantage with a single screen. Like I feel like I'm handicapped to
the
live right now.
Phone either, right? Yeah. So Justaz, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry, he's also part of the beta program. So he basically says make 20 calls a day, every day. Meetings.
No. Let me clarify there. It's not 20 calls. It's not 20 dials. It is 20 connections, 20 conversations.
Yeah, and he actually says make 20 calls a day equals booked.
Yeah.
So what Matt is saying, just to be absolutely clear, 20 calls a day doesn't equal 20 booked meetings, but you're still talking to 20 people.
Yeah, 20. So here's the thing. In real estate, like what I always track, I track my dials, right? How many people did I have to dial to get somebody to answer? How many people who answered did I have to have a conversation, right? And then how many conversations to my desired result?
Yeah.
Right.
And Kevin here has actually a good comment here. So remind yourself of the statistical data, X calls equals plus contacts.
Yeah. So we got into that a little bit. You're talking about like how to stay motivated, right? So for me, like I learned early on.
Sorry, Matt, 2 seconds. I'll be right back here.
Right on.
Are you good with this? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. So for me, like I learned early on that every no was a step closer to a yes, right? So every single person that said no had a dollar value. So depending on what you're offering, right, you can figure out the numbers. Maybe it's every 100 conversations, you get 20 appointments. Every 20 appointments, you get 3 people to sign up with you, right? So then there's a dollar value you can associate based on what you're charging per call, per conversation, right? And so every no, yes, it doesn't really matter. It all adds up to that end goal, which is somebody signing with you, right? And even a no now might not be a no later. So like for me, as an agent, I was calling expireds, I was calling for sale by owners, I was cold calling, just completely cold. But I always had a conversion rate, right? So if I knew it took me 14 calls with expireds to get an appointment, or 10, we'll say it's 10 right now for easier math, right? It takes me 10 calls to get an expired appointment. Then I know that every single call has a dollar value because let's say I'm converting one of every 2 appointments, okay? So hang on, I'll let Shane get back before I go through this. 1 second here. Okay, so if every 2 appointments gets me 1 listing and I sell 95% of my listings and I make $5,000, on every listing, well, somebody can do the math on this, right? But basically, if it takes me 10 calls, 10 conversations, 10 conversations to get to an appointment, I get 2 appointments, so it's 20 calls, and I make $5,000 every time I list a property, and I list at 50%, right? Then, somebody do that. What's the math on that? 5,000 divided by 20. Let's see the math. Somebody do it.
Was it 5,000 divided by 20?
Yeah, I don't have any calculators. And,
so 5,000. You're so good with the math too. $250.
$250 a call. How many of you would make a cold call if you knew you were going to make $250 regardless of what they said? Let me know in the comments. Would you call if you knew every single conversation was going to make you $250 per conversation. For Shayne, it would have to be a little higher.
A lot higher.
A lot higher.
Not because I don't think $250.
You pretentious ass.
No,
I'm
it
just
has
kidding.
nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that
the anxiety.
I physically cannot make cold calls.
All right. Now, Shayne, you know you're bringing about a challenge potentially by saying I physically cannot make cold calls.
I physically cannot make cold calls.
Like this is very possibly becoming a challenge that we may put Shayne into.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Absolutely not, because so for that reason, and I've had to improvise with being able to grow a business, right? Because I mean, I agree with with you, Matt. I mean, the fastest way to make money is to make cold calls. I mean,
right.
You can make a lot of cold calls in a 6 to 8 hour span. I
mean, 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Where'd you go? I guess I'm alone again. So I guess the idea behind the cold calls is that, yeah, we can make a lot of cold calls in a single day. It's just, unfortunately, I'm physically incapable of making cold calls. It's just not something that I can do. That said, I have in my career, I've done cold calls out of necessity and trying to keep, people that I was working with happy. But because of the fact that I hate cold calling so much, I've relied a lot on growing my network, which takes a little bit longer, and then trying to get as many referrals as possible from that network and leveraging those networks, which over time works.
We're going downstairs for our glow party in a little bit here, so I had to get my hat.
So I was just telling, like that. Just, now I don't know how serious. Yeah.
Sorry to distract.
I can't even look at you anymore.
Adam says Matt's off with the bikers now. No, I'm not.
So I was just saying how because I can't, like, cold calling for me is not an option. I've had to improvise a little bit. So I rely a lot on building, my network, rely on referrals. And
honestly, your champion method, which you teach in the beta course, your champion method is probably my number one favorite method for acquisition. And it can be done with an agent. It can be done with a marketer. It doesn't really matter. Like, that method to me is so gold, right? Like, if you're not familiar with it, like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you got to get the beta to get it. But like, this seriously it's a method unlike a lot of others. Right.
And it's not like something that's not like a huge secret, because it was something that I was taught in my 20s.
Yeah.
It's and I mean, you can go out and you can research this online as well. It's not, it's not a big secret. It's not something that I invented. It was just something that I was taught at 20 years ago, when we were dealing with really, really large corporations and trying to pitch, $250,000 deals into, some of the largest companies in Canada.
Right.
And this was one of the, easiest, well, this was the second easiest way, landing these deals. The best way is to pay people off.
But I mean,
which we used to do too, right? But I mean, I don't want to much about that. But, you want to land.
Wait, how would that work for a marketer?
$500,000 deal. Sometimes you've got to. What, the champion method, or
no, paying people off, greasing the palms. Could they do that?
You could absolutely do that.
How would you do it?
Well, if you've got large enough companies that you're working with, I mean, just find purchasing agents and the people that are making decisions or making recommendations, and buy them a car.
There you go. Sure. Wow. Buy them a car. Cheryl says, yep, some of my best deals have come from the champion clients. I love it, Cheryl. I love it. Cheryl crushes it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So no word of a lie. We one of the companies I used to work with, So one of the things, like talking about greasy palms and stuff like that, right? And I know there's a couple people on this call that specifically one person I know for sure he understands this. But we had one commercial client and two clients actually. So one of them was basically a really large. He was basically a purchasing director for a very large company, and the guys that I was contracted to work with, so essentially they were mailing them checks, randomly to this person. And one of the things that they ended up buying him was a new in-ground pool, and that was just part of the deal. It was crazy, and this shit happens all the time. And I knew it. I know it happened a lot in my career.
Well, in our scenario, this would be something maybe to lock down a brokerage, right?
Large brokerage,
a very large brokerage.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely the champion method is aside from greasing palms and stuff like that. But the champion method has always been a really great method for me, and I've used it all the time in every single one of the businesses I've ever grown. It's how how I started this. Is I started looking out for a champion to be able to help me and leverage that relationship to get into bigger clients.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
So yeah, if you're in the beta program, I actually just recently uploaded that video inside the course probably a couple weeks ago. So go take a look at that.
Well, and we're going to cover next, basically for those people at the 10K mark, right? How to take it to the next level, how to leverage that. So if you guys want to hear more about that, let's see a 7 in the chat. Just comment the number 7. Let us know. Do you want to hear about leveraging your business and going to the next level?
And I think this is
honestly wherever you're at.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake. I see this mistake, and maybe not a mistake because I don't know everything, but I have, I've witnessed people growing their businesses. I've witnessed, I've grown my own business, and I've had staff and we've like in our day we would actually call them staff, not VAs. So 20 years ago, but we also had in-house salespeople, we had inside salespeople, we had we had technical teams that we would build, and so but I think one of the, it would not be a mistake, but again, a lot of times when you get into this, it's like, okay, well, the fastest way for me to grow my business is to get more clients, right? And so do I need to go out and hire salespeople or something that can close business, or and go out and do that part of the business? And I think that's a mistake. Personally, I think that's a mistake. If you're jumping into this as a marketer and you are looking to grow your business, I personally believe you should be doing the sales. You should be understanding your business. You should be going out talking to customers and trying to acquire customers. If you can't do cold calls, then come talk to me. I'll tell you how to do it without doing cold calls. But there's a lot of other, acquisition methods and so on. So that brings us to the next point, which is, if you want to leverage, if you're at the 10K mark where you've got 20 clients and you want to scale to the next level, what should you be doing, or how do you scale to, 30, 40, 50, 100 clients?
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the big ways to do that is with virtual assistants, right? So the first thing I would automate is going to be the administration or the ads part, right? I'm not going to automate client acquisition right off the bat because that's what I'm typically going to be best at, right? So you don't want to take the part that's driving your business and outsource that right away. You want to take the parts that are taking you away from driving the business and outsource those first. Okay. So let's say you're at 10K, right? And now you're sitting there, you're doing this fulfillment and you're having these client calls and you're answering dumb, stupid questions that could be automated. I mean, that's the truth of it, right? Like,
when
hey,
you say dumb, stupid questions with the hat light thing you got going on.
I know I had to put it sideways because straight on, it just does not have the same effect. You got to put it sideways. Did you see like everybody in the background here? Like my whole extended family here. Everybody is rocking light
There's
up
like
stuff
3 people
for
in that room.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people right now in the room. So I think we've got 15 people all together staying in the condo. So it is a fun family trip. But anyways, getting back to it. Umair says that hat is so sick. I love you, Umair. You're my people.
If you're nice enough, Matt might mail you one.
I don't even know where they got them. I'd have to ask.
They're pretty cool.
Right?
In dollar store or something.
Probably. Anyways. So getting back to it, right? You don't want to outsource your job right away. You want to outsource the jobs that take your time away from driving business. So I think that's a mistake a lot of people make is right away they want to outsource sales. And when you do that, like you have to pay somebody more money if they're going to be killer at sales, right? So you're going to sacrifice profit margin while you're in the initial phases of the business. At 10K, you shouldn't be doing ads. Like I'll just say that. If you're at 10K, you probably should not be doing ads. And I guess I should probably put a caveat on that, right? If you're at 10K and you have at least 6 to 7 clients, you shouldn't be doing ads. So if you have one client, they're paying you 10K a month, like get over it, dude. You can do the ads. It's one client, right? But when you start losing 10, 15 hours a week because you're managing these ads, that's when you're like, okay, it's probably time. Oh, shoot. Cheryl says, I don't see any whiskey on this Whiskey Thursday.
All right. Let's drink in here.
Cheers, Cheryl.
I don't drink whiskey. I honestly, every time I drink whiskey on this show, the next day is really, really rough. I'm traveling tomorrow, so.
Is that an age thing, Shane? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm
kidding.
No, I don't like it. It probably is. I'm overworked.
Yeah.
Because my partners make me work so much. And I just think like too much whiskey. I wake up the next day and I'm just
It's true. You know what's funny though is I've noticed that if I go to Jack Fire instead of Fireball, I feel better the next day. So
okay.
It could be a quality thing, man. Like stop spending $8 Canadian dollars a bottle of whiskey. Start spending 30, 40 and you'll feel better the next day.
That is very possible. That is very possible.
I don't think anybody makes an $8 bottle of Canadian whiskey unless it's like one of those little tiny shots.
Yeah, no, it's like they're this big.
Oh man, I could go on about that. Like this area is so different from Michigan. Like you have to buy liquor from a strictly liquor store, right?
Yeah, it's like here.
Like in Michigan, they have it at Meijer, they have it at Walmart, they have it at Kroger. Like everywhere you go has liquor. It's just you can get it any time. But here it's like you can only buy it during these hours, and you have to go to the ABC store, and it's crazy. Like I'd love to move here, but like I don't want to have to like. What's that?
We have the exact same problem here.
It's crazy. Cheers, Cheryl. She says you're keeping me company while I work on client stuff. Fantastic. Okay, so getting back, somebody asked, what do I mean by the 10K mark? Okay, so 10K is an agency owner who is doing 10K a month. If you are a real estate agent and you're doing 10K a month, you don't necessarily need to start outsourcing. A real estate agent, in my opinion, needs to start outsourcing at 36 deals a year. Okay, that's when you start outsourcing. You can do a little bit of outsourcing in the beginning, like photos should always be done by a professional. Don't take your phone. All right, don't be a dummy. Don't do that.
Yeah. So like you're don't be a dummy.
No, but for real, don't be a dummy. Don't
for real, don't be a dummy.
You don't take pictures with your phone when you're selling real estate, and especially on a house over 100,000. Like under 100,000, yeah, you can probably get away with it, right? But over 100,000, hire a photographer. They're 60, 75, $100, and it's gonna be 100% worth it. You get into higher end properties, they cost more, but you're gonna make so much more when you sell it, right? So This is more towards agency owners as far as leverage. If you're a real estate agent, you're wondering, when do I leverage my business? 36 deals, okay? I mean, you can do a transaction coordinator before that. You can do photographers before that, but you're not going to go hire an assistant until you're about 36 deals a year, okay? Which is 3 a month. So,
and this is not, I mean, doesn't apply to every single agent out there. Obviously, there's some agents that can, you know, do 50 deals a year. I mean, I had one client, they were doing like 200 deals a year, and it was just 2 of them. It was insane. Like,
yeah,
but they overworked themselves. They ended up burning out. But you know, but I think what you're saying is the rule of thumb, around 36 deals a year. It's probably time to.
Did you hear the motorcycles that time?
No, I hear wind.
Fine, whatever.
But so 36 deals a year is sort of the, you know, at that point you should start thinking about outsourcing. And what do you outsource at that point?
So as an agent or a marketer?
As an agent, like what?
So as an agent, you're going to go hire your full-time administrative assistant, right? They're going to handle most of your client calls, most of your check-in calls with your clients, which you should be doing weekly, okay? They're going to be handling your lockbox setups, your MLS input, your photo setups for when they're coming in. They're going to schedule your inspections. They're going to schedule your closings. They're going to make sure all the paperwork is handled. Basically, they're going to take care of all the stuff that is not you doing real estate or generating new business, okay? Which is the exact same thing that I recommend for an agency owner who has 6 or more clients at 10K a month, okay? Not 60K a month. I'm saying if you're making more than 10K a month, okay, you have at least 6 clients, then you can start outsourcing stuff. And the first thing I would do is outsource the ads, right? Because that takes a lot of time. I would outsource the ads.
And that's probably I think part of the reason why we would suggest the ad side of it or the administrative side of it. And the beautiful thing now is that you can outsource to 2 different people, which is, you know, the internet's allowed us to do this, which is awesome. But so you can have somebody that's specific on the ad side of things, and you can have
I'll be right back, buddy.
Where are you going now?
This time I gotta pee.
Oh, my God, man.
I know. It's a wild whiskey Thursday.
Or are you?
What's that?
Are you gonna get a new?
You want me to leave the hat inside? Would that make you feel better?
No, I would like you to like. I don't care what you do with the hat. I'm just wondering if you're leaving to get a new hat.
I'll see if they have one. Maybe I can wear it too. I'll be right back.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Right. So basically on the outsourcing side of things, I think part of the reason why Matt or even myself, why we'd be suggesting outsourcing the ad side of it is because it's the easiest thing that you can actually take and build out standard operating procedures for. And if you can do that, then anybody can basically build out the campaigns that and the ads that you need them to build for your clients. Matt has a really good way of actually doing this, and I think actually inside the beta course, he put together some videos as to what you should be getting your VAs to do for you, how to work with them, and I don't know if he covers actually standard operating procedures, but we'll talk about that when he gets back. So. And he's probably the better guy to talk about this. But so for us, even at this point here, we actually still haven't outsourced the ad side of things. We actually still build a lot of our own ads. What we decided to do is actually outsource most of our administrative stuff. So, so that gets us away from the administrative side of things. We have somebody that takes care of a lot of that. We also have Amanda, that some of you know, she takes care of a lot of the group stuff and queries and some of the technical issues that we run into. So that's what we decided to outsource. The ad side of things, we want to still maintain some control of that. We're now looking to, there are certain parts, like there's some higher level stuff that we're doing, which we've outsourced the ads to, but in a lot of cases for some of our big clients, we want to be involved in that. So we just decided to keep that. Plus, the other side of it is that on our client acquisition side of things, because we're not as involved in terms of trying to acquire as many clients as possible, we can still continue to do ads on our own, which is pretty awesome. And then we have Matt, which who can handle all of the ads for us and new creatives and things like that. So, so I'm going to wait for Matt to come back here and talk about that, because that's pretty much what he does. But let me check see if there are any questions in here. Let's see here. Drew. Lighting looks good for Matt. Awesome. Let's see if there are any other questions. Guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down below here as we wait for Mr. Matt to get back. The worst part about this, Matt might decide to go out and party on his own or with his family and leave me here on Whiskey Thursday. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Jay says, when you say ISAs get 15 to 20% of leads to appointments, is it connected leads or all leads? So typically when we're talking to our clients and we mention a specific percentage, we're actually talking about connected leads. So, or connected contacts, right? 15 to 20% of all connected leads. So leads that we're not connecting with, obviously, bad data, bad phone numbers, things like that, we're not counting those. So it would be 15 to 20% of connected leads. Let's see here. And I am down to, oh, no, there we go. Oh, I think that's about it, actually. I'm just trying to scroll down the list here. And that's the end of the questions here. Let me just go scroll back up because I think I actually missed some. So training a team, nitty-gritty as sorry, tedious tasks. But yeah, exactly. So Umar says, training a team to do the nitty-gritty ads part, outsourcing tedious tasks is better than outsourcing the sales part. Absolutely. Again, if you're, like, this is the way I see things. If you're looking to, I mute this thing.
I'm back.
You're.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
That was awesome.
Dude, here's the thing. I hope I didn't interrupt something crazy important, but look, my entire family is down on the beach. I don't know if you can see them. Like, that's probably about 300 yards, but that's 15 people with light up stuff like this.
I can't see anything.
Come on, you can see them. They're right there.
No.
Fine.
Yeah. If you can't show it.
Canadians. Anyways, I'm sorry. Where were we at?
Yeah. So, I was still the same place where you decided to leave me here and talking about.
Okay.
So Umar here says, so training a team to do nitty gritty ads part, outsourcing tedious tasks is better than outsourcing the sales part of it.
Yeah. You don't outsource your sales first, right? Because that is what does Michael Scott say in The Office? Like, this is the life of the business. Sales is the life of the business, or whatever it is. Like, it's 100% true, right? If you're not driving new sales, like, you're not generating new business, okay? And you have to generate new business to stay legit and to make money, okay? So don't outsource that right away, because if your salesperson sucks and you don't realize it because maybe you've never hired somebody before. This is your first hire, right? You don't know how to train somebody. You don't know how to track it. And all of a sudden, here we are 6 weeks later, and you're going, we haven't closed anything. And I've paid you $4,500 or whatever it is, right? Well, now you're down $4,500. And not only that, but your pipeline has been dormant for 6 weeks. Like FML, I've
not heard that in a long time.
It's gonna be rough. Seriously.
Oh my God.
But no, for real. Like, that is gonna be a rough time when all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh gosh, we have not been doing sales.
Absolutely.
So don't start with your sales team. Like, your sales are the most important piece of your business at the point that you're at. And if you start outsourcing it, it's just like, you're a new entrepreneur, or maybe you're not a new entrepreneur, but maybe you're a new boss or manager, right? And so you're learning, but in the time that you're learning, you're risking your business. Like, this is not a Tom Cruise movie. Don't risk your business.
Absolutely. So, and you know, I mean, I think every business that I built,
hashtag I got it, if you caught that.
Somebody said, what did Drew says? Yes, Drew says that's what she said. I guess from The Office. Just going back to like every single business that we have built. So everyone, like I think of so far, like this will be my 9th company, like throughout my entire career that I built up. Every single one of them, it was me, right? Obviously, either by myself or with a partner. And the number one thing we would do is obviously client acquisition. Like, you know, we had something to offer, go out, try to acquire clients. Right. And then the fulfillment side of it, right? Because most of what we were doing was service-based business. I did build a software company, and that was a little different. But again, a huge focus on the sales side of things. Get enough clients, do the fulfillment by yourself. You're working day in, day out, right? Because you're doing client acquisition during the day, then you're doing fulfillment at night. Like this is pretty typical when you're building up a business. And then as you start growing, you get a little bit more, you get a few more clients, you get revenue coming in. The first thing we would do is we'd hire somebody to handle the fulfillment. That was the first. And then we would keep doing the client acquisition, building up the pipelines, going out to events, getting more clients, talking to more people, just keep building up that pipeline. And then what ends up happening is your fulfillment increases. Then we would go out and hire another person to now basically upgrade our first person that we hired to, say, an account manager, or, you know, in you know, some of the companies, like we were calling them technical managers. And then we would hire, you know, another person that would come in and take care of what he was taking care of, right? Right. And we continue to grow that. Once we got to a certain point and we could afford, and this is what we used to do in order to grow our business. And I know, Matt, you and I have talked about this. Once we could afford going out to a competitor and hiring one of their salespeople, that's what we would do.
You stole salespeople.
It's exactly what we did.
Yep.
We would steal salespeople from our competitors, our biggest competitors. And maybe not like our biggest competitors in what we know, what the areas that we were working in, and within reason too. Like, you know, some of these sales guys are making a lot of money. So, and that's how we grew. And the nice thing about bringing on a sales guy, and I know you and I have talked about this, like to grow the agency side of it, like go out and get a sales guy from Realtor.com or Zillow or Bold Leads or, you know, one of these big companies. That's how you're gonna, like, that's how you grow your business. You're bringing.
Well, and that's exactly why you don't do it at $10K a month, right? Because at $10K a month, it will cost you $12K a month to hire the best sales guy on the planet, right? It'll cost you $12, $15K to hire the best that you can get for your business. So you don't do that right away. You go and you find a VA who's going to work for $4 an hour or $6 an hour, whatever it is, for 10 hours a week, right? They do your ads. You should be, every time, you know, this is something we should probably tell people earlier on, but you know what? Every time you do ads, you should be dictating it live while you're recording it. Okay. And then when it comes time to hire your VA, you go back through your recordings and you create the training video. Right?
Yeah. And
the truth is, the first couple times you do ads, like, you're not going to be ready to do this. But as time goes on, like, you feel less and less special, as weird as that sounds. But like, initially it's kind of like, I'm the ads guy. I'm the only guy who could do this. Like, how could I ever hire this out?
So that brings up another good point too. And I think this is another, you know, something that we see inside the student group, and it's something that we see with, you know, marketers in general and stuff like that. A lot of times you want to become a generalist, right? And you want to be able to solve everybody's problems, right? Again, I think it goes back to this, you know, scarcity mindset where it's like, I just need to acquire clients, right? There's not enough clients out there, so I need to bring on the first client that I can talk to. And, you know, part of what we have done with our business is we've really standardized everything. We've essentially productized our services. So we have said, okay, this is what we offer. If you don't fit that mold, we don't work with you. And that's it. Like, you know, and we know there are
we should say if you don't fit that mold at a regular price point, we don't work with you. If you're going to pay $10K or more a month, we may shift the mold.
Right. So, but the point is here is that if you're a marketer and you're doing, you know, one client that wants to do, you know, open houses for luxury condos, and then you have another client that, you know, wants buyer ads, and then you got the next client that wants seller ads, and then, you know, you got another client that's an investor, and then you bring on a chiropractor, and then you bring on a, you know, another real estate agent that's I don't know, working with vacation properties. You know, all of a sudden, like, this is really complicating your business, right? So if you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to focus on, and like there are so many niches that you can actually focus on, and we decided. Yeah.
Before you go there, this is a very common question. I mean, we see it all the time in other, what do you call them? General groups, where they say, should I niche down?
Niche down or not?
Niche down, niche down. Is it niche or niche? Tell us in the comments.
It's niche, but I think niche sounds better. It's easier to say niche.
Niche.
It's niche.
Niche sounds German. Niche.
It's niche.
But I feel like it should be like niche.
Listen,
but anyways.
Yeah, I get it. But, you know, like, I mean, these guys, like a lot of these other, you know, and I don't want to say anything because I don't know. I just know that it's really, really difficult. People are going to argue with me all day long, but one of the most difficult businesses that you can start is a service-based business. You only have so much time in the day. Like, and this is exactly what you're starting. You are starting a service-based business. I don't care how you cut it, but that's what you're doing. So if you want to go out there and work in, you know, 10 different niches and try to grow a business to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a year, good luck. Like, you know, I prefer to work in the product business because to me, the product business is not limited by your time. It's limited by the amount of customers you can drive to your business, how many customers you can get to buy. So part of, you know, what you can do on the services side of things, and this is something that I've done in a lot of our services-based businesses, is you productize your service. You basically take your services and put them into a bucket, and that becomes your core offer or the offer or one of the offers that you provide. And that, unfortunately, by doing that, maybe not unfortunately, but by doing that, you are niching down.
Yeah. Well, can you give an example, Shane? Because I feel like maybe it wasn't as detailed as some people might want. What do you mean by that exactly?
What I mean, what part of it?
Putting your products in a bucket and offering service.
Yeah, so break down what you need to do to deliver a specific service and take that and build a product around that. And that becomes the product that you offer to a client. And what that allows you to do is then, instead of going out and trying to acquire different clients that are doing different things and acquiring as many clients as possible, now you can actually focus on what kind of clients you need to be talking to.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing that it does for you as well is that it also allows you to build procedures around how to deliver that specific product, how to do the fulfillment of that specific service product. Because if you're offering custom products or custom, you know, everything that you do is custom, is very, very difficult to go out and start building, you know, standard operating procedures and then bring people into your business to be able to deliver on that. It becomes very difficult and it becomes very expensive.
Yeah.
Because now you can't, it's very hard to hire a VA to start, you know, building out 20 different ads for 20 different types of clients.
Here's the thing about VAs, right? So in my experience of hiring VAs, I've been working with VAs since I was 16, right? So 14 years now. or no, gosh, I just turned 31. 15 years now, right, that I've been working with VAs, okay? Side note, I use them in college to help me with paperwork. But anyways, with VAs, like, you have to be super direct on what their job is and how much time it should take, okay? And it's just, like, you guys cannot hire a VA from point, like, 0 and, like, hire them to do your fulfillment if you don't know how to do your fulfillment. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't hire someone to do it because you're going to do it a little bit different than the way that I would do it. Shayne does his ads a little bit different than what I would do. Yeah, they all work, or they often work, I should say, right? But you can't just say, go watch this video and create the ads like this right off the bat. Because if you don't know what to expect, you don't know how to see if they're working or not working, okay? So while, yes, like the videos in the student beta, you could say, go watch this video, build out a new construction campaign. Like, there's going to be some guidelines to that. But if you've never built one out yourself, you're going to have a hard time talking to your VA about what they need to do to make it a little bit better, to make it, you know, tone it down a little, whatever it is.
Yeah, at that point, like if you, and it's not to say that, you know, service-based businesses don't work. There have been, you know, there are plenty of successes out there. There are plenty of service-based businesses where they're offering custom services. But, you know, part of it is that we work in a very competitive space. That's part of it, right? And so, you know, where was I going with this? I was going to, my point is that if you're going to start doing a lot of custom stuff, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have to get an ads guy that can actually run the ads for you, and that's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
wait, do you hear it? Do you hear the motorcycles? They go again.
Nope.
Dang it! They're everywhere, man.
I believe it is a figment of your imagination.
Next time I'll get a picture. Anyways,
that's right. No picture, it didn't happen.
Flex says, Shayne, you were meant to get Matt to talk about what to teach a VA what to do. Flex, like, that is such a broad question.
But okay, so yeah, very broad question, but you've actually talked about this a lot.
Okay.
So talk about, just really quickly, you're at a point now, you've got 5, 6, 7, 10 clients. You're at a point where you can hire a VA.
Yeah.
So talk about those steps. You're at that point now where you can hire a VA.
Okay, number one, you need, number one, number two, number three. Number one, you need to be recording yourself when you're building out ads, okay? You need to be building an SOP, a standard operating procedure that your VAs are going to follow, okay? If you don't have that, they don't have a guideline, okay? And one thing that I've run into with VAs, again, running them for 15 years now, if you do not give them a guideline, like you have 1 hour, and it's hard to say that, right? Because sometimes a VA will take 3 hours to do a project. Sometimes it'll take 1. The longer they've been with you, the more you know how long it should take. But at the same time, if it takes you 30 minutes, assume a VA can get that done within an hour. Okay, so double your time. That's basically how long it's going to take a VA until they get used to it, and then they should be able to match your time or real close. I've had plenty of VAs who can do things faster than I can after being trained. Okay, so as far as what they're going to do, you're going to like record your processes. They're going to be a mirror of you. That is what their job is, to be a mirror of you, to make 2 Flex that are working on ads right now. Okay. And if there's not enough ads that you and them,
cloning technologies here.
my cloning technology. I feel like now I need my
Flex. You're gonna have 2
cloning technology. No, I'm just kidding. But
I gotta get a charger, Matt.
You're good.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be 2 of you, right? So it should not take them a ton longer than it takes you to do the project. But at the same time, you got to understand what they're learning. It is going to take a little more time. Okay. So as you bring them on, they're learning. It takes a little more time. As they get better, they should match or beat your time if they're a great VA. Great VAs usually cost $6 to $10 an hour. If they're not a great VA, that's okay if you're not paying them a crazy amount of money, right? If it takes them 2 hours to do the job, it takes you to do one, but you're paying them $6 an hour, like, come on. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. But anyways, what you're going to teach them is how to build out your ads first, okay? You want to take that off your plate, okay? You don't immediately want to take away the client communications. Because if you take client communications away, like, that's a big piece of the business, right? Your first thing that you never want to take away is your sales. The next thing you don't want to take away would probably be your client communications. After that, it'd be fulfillment. So fulfillment in a reverse order from that would be the first thing that you would start to outsource. Okay. So your Facebook ads, your business page posts, whatever it is, like that's what their job is. They don't have to be full-time. I mean, heck, you guys, any one of you go out and find somebody and offer them 40 hours a week at $6 an hour, and then white label that to other agency owners. These guys are going to build your ad. It's going to cost you $500 a month, whatever, right? You do that 3-4 times, like they have something to do most hours of the day. Dang it, I missed the motorcycles. They have something to do most hours of the day, and you're getting it paid for, okay? So the first person there is going to win. But again, they're doing fulfillment first. The next thing they're going to do is probably going to be your client management, okay? So let's say you got your fulfillment taken care of. You've outsourced it to, Shayne, okay? Because Shayne does that. No, I'm just kidding. You outsourced it to Austin. I don't know who's doing white label right now. But anyways, you outsource it to somebody who's a VA who you taught everything to. It's way cheaper. Or you outsource it to a marketer who's going to charge you way more money. But it still might be worth it. But your next step is to outsource your client management, okay? And your client management is going to be tougher to outsource because these people are coming in with questions, right? And so this person's going to be able to need to speak great English, not just write it, but they need to speak great English or whatever, language you're marketing in. And they're going to be able to help the real estate agent or the real estate client out with how to convert their leads or the questions that they have. Maybe they pass them along and they build an SOP that way. But again, that's going to be your second hire. And then the third one, the last one, is going to be your salesperson, okay? And this is somebody we're going to go find a high-tech closer. You're going to go find an amazing virtual assistant, whatever it is, right? That's the last thing that you do because that's the lifeblood of your business, okay? So if that is not nailed down by you for as long as possible, like you're going to be in trouble. But let's say you're bringing in 25 appointments a week. Like maybe you can't handle that because you're weak. No, I'm just kidding. 25 is a ton of appointments to be handling. So maybe you bring on a salesperson. They're taking part of the calls, right? And you're taking part of the calls. So in that case, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be recording their calls. I'm going to be recording my calls, okay? I want them listening to my calls. I want to listen to their calls because I'm going to go through their calls and I'm going to find out what did they do wrong? What did they miss? What did they fail to, elaborate on? What did they fail to get through to the customer, right? In the meantime, they're listening to your calls to figure out how to get better in their skill, okay? So that's the third piece of the puzzle. And it's the last piece because the next thing you do is bring on another salesperson, right? Until you're too busy, you bring on another admin, and then those 4 people are too busy to bring on another client manager. But in the meantime, the first thing you do, get your fulfillment taken care of. Then client management. Then client acquisition. It's the last thing you outsource because it's the most important piece of your business. If that makes sense, I don't know, just type something in the comments.
Hashtag, where's the hat, Matt?
Where's the hat, Matt? My bad.
Where's the hat, Matt?
Trucker style.
Okay. Well.
All right, Shane, you've been listening. You go ahead and talk while I take a breather.
Yeah, I wasn't really listening, but I think those are all good points.
Thank you so much.
I'm just kidding. No, it's absolutely, like I said, it's the way we built our, my previous businesses and pretty much what we've done recently. And yeah, just see if you have any questions here. Jay, if you were to charge clients per set appointments for people who want to sell their home, how much would you charge?
$1,000 appointment. I would never do it, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
I would never do that.
Let me he's got two questions.
Go ahead with the next part.
Finish.
Part one.
Let me finish.
No.
So how much would you charge the client per appointment set? Not considering that option. Just curious, since we tell them they will be getting 10 to 15 appointments per month.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to charge you per appointment. It's not how I work, okay? You want to work with me, you have to work with my model, and that's not my model, right? Is it the hat, Shane? Is it the hat?
I'm sure, how can you, anybody watching, can you actually take this guy seriously?
Dang it, I just popped my hat, my bad.
We'll let you fix your hat.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh man, I've got a great hat story on my Instagram about my son, the hat he picked out the other day. But anyways, Flex says, thanks, Matt. Flex, glad you enjoyed it. Again, it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say higher level discussion, but for a lot of people, it's a future discussion. And it's good to know where you're going to go in that direction. But it's not necessarily useful to everybody.
Well, and I think a lot of people also feel that
Cheryl.
Because the sales side of it is one of the more difficult parts of it.
Right.
Of course, you want to try and outsource them to people that are better at it, right? Yeah, I heard that.
You heard him? Okay. It's Bike Fest, or apparently Bike Fest is Black Biker Week, right? Apparently there's multiple biker weeks, and Bike Fest is Black Biker Week. So it's a lot of stretched Hayabusas is what I'm seeing right now. I don't know if you're a bike person, you know exactly what I just said. It's a stretched Hayabusa. There's a lot of them, and it's awesome.
so just back at what was I saying? Right. Yeah. So basically, it would be natural to want to outsource the sales part of it, right? It's okay, well, I'm going to get a better cold caller. I'm going to get somebody that's really good at building Facebook ads and an acquisition funnel. I'm going to
that's not something that I covered, but that could be a position as well. It's somebody who's an appointment setter. That would probably become someone between your client manager and your salesperson. In between there, you could do an appointment setter.
But again, you want to get to that point where you know how to operate that.
Yeah.
Right? You want to know what the numbers are. You want to know, okay, how many dials do I have to make in order to set an appointment? Because if you can't, then you can't gauge the success of the appointment setter.
Right. And they're not all going to meet your standard, right? They're not all going to be the same level that you can do. And that's okay. If you're not paying somebody crazy money, they don't have to be just as good as you.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. What kind of questions we got coming in?
That's pretty much it. No more questions. Other than Chris Ryan comments that that's the thinking cap that you got there.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
You're my people.
Makes Matt smarter.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Let's wrap it up then. I think it's 10:30 or so, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here, guys. Unless you have any more questions, go ahead, throw them really quickly here inside the comments. We'll be happy to stick around for a little bit more. But not too many questions coming in. So, but I think we covered some pretty decent topics here. Client acquisition and growing your business.
Yeah, is Whiskey Thursday worth your time? You tell us.
Is Whiskey Thursday worth your time?
Are you getting value from this? That's what I want to know.
I know people that put aside time to watch this.
Oh, I know, but like this week, I just need my ego stroked. So I'm kidding.
Yeah, come on, guys. We need to stroke Matt's ego.
Do not say hashtag stroke Matt. I know where you're going with that. Do not do it. Anyways.
Come on. Drew says here, do you guys offer any other services other than Facebook ads to your real estate clients? Anything with Google or Google My Business? So currently, no. So we don't. Again, it kind of goes back to us wanting to work with very specific types of clients. So we have taken our offerings. We productize that into a couple different buckets. If our clients don't fit within that, we don't work with them. Not
that we don't love them, but it's just not what we do best.
It's just that they don't fit that mold, and that's for us. I think we've gotten to a point where, you get to a certain point where you can start picking and choosing the types of clients you want to do, or that you want to work with, but I think it just kind of goes back to this thing where us being able to do that also allows us to scale and really focus on the types of clients that we want to bring on and who we want to work with, right? So as opposed to us going out and, hiring a cold caller, hiring an appointment setter so that we can talk to as many real estate as possible, that doesn't fit because we're just not going to be, so we need to rely on other acquisition methods, right? So, building relationships, referrals are really important to us. Going to events and meeting the right type of client, like all those things are really important to us. And because those are the types of clients that are going to fit into what we offer as a service. And we only offer Facebook ads. And only because that's the platform right now. And that's, what we do. What are we looking at? Looks like a skating.
I'm trying to find the motorcycles. You can only see the pool.
Oh, Never mind. Was that a pool?
Yeah, that's one pool. There's another one down here.
A pool, tennis court.
Anyways. You heard that one.
We sure did.
Anyways, guys, I'm so glad everybody joined us this week. It's a lot of fun to be able to be on vacation and to do shows like this and have a good time. And you guys are the ones that make that possible. So thanks for being on here.
Absolutely. So Brad, Aaron, Cheryl, and Flex all say it's worth it. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're going to let you guys go. We're going to let Matt get to his family here. Special thanks to Matt for joining us tonight on his vacation. And everybody that's watching, thank you so much for joining us and supporting us here inside the group. Supporting us here.
If you made it this far, hashtag Trooper in the comments below. If you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay Trooper. If you made it this far, so let us know. We shouldn't be seeing any replay Troopers right now. Just FYI, it should be later on. But anyways,
it's funny because the people that like the regulars that come on the show, they've already hashtag Trooper.
I noticed that.
They already know we're about to ask it, right? So it's awesome, guys. Thanks for sticking around. And we really appreciate the continued support. Make sure come join us next week. We should have a guest on next week. And,
also, if you have guests that you want us to bring on, shoot us a message. Let us know. Shoot the Real Estate Marketing and Conversion Mastery page a message to let us know that you want us to bring on XYZ person or whatever, or you want us to talk about XYZ subject, and not surgeon, subject. And we'll do our best to cover it and bring them on.
Absolutely. And it's great too, because now, we're at like 7,000 members, because we can leverage the size of the group. We can get some pretty decent people on these Whiskey Thursdays. And usually,
how far away do you think we are from getting Russell on here?
Russell, I think we're really far.
We got to be at 10,000. I don't know. Maybe we can get Stephen Larson.
Maybe maybe 500,000 people. I think we're really far from that.
Yeah, probably.
Oof. But there's still a lot of great people out there. There are a lot of, it'd be nice to maybe bring on, some top performing agents out there and talk to them, get their sense of, what's working, what's not working. I think it also gives a really good perspective for the marketers in this group as well. And then there's a lot of other, great marketers out there that I think, we still haven't engaged and brought on yet. So you're looking good, Matt. You're looking good.
Anyways, thank you guys so much. We're so glad you're here. Hashtag Trooper if you made it this far. And we'll see you next week. Shane, stick around for the after party.
Oh, I got to end it, right?
You have to end it.
Jesus. Hang on.
Wait. We got a question. What do you tell agents that think social media doesn't work? Welcome to 2019. No, but I'm serious. If somebody says social media doesn't work, number one, they may not be the best client. If you have to convince them, let's say you do, then you're gonna walk them through why social media does work today. And if you live in today and use social media, that should not be a problem. Look at the past multiple, local elections, potentially even national elections, where things are being shifted by social media. Like today's life is being shifted by social media. If somebody does not agree with that, they may not be the best client. If you just have to explain it to them, then I would go slow because they may take a little while to understand it.
Absolutely.
With that, I think
whoa. We got Jimmy here. He's like, do you want to answer my question from the beginning?
Which one was that?
Since it got skipped, Jimmy here. Hang on. I don't know. I can't even scroll all the way up. Jimmy, listen, sorry about that. We'll wait for you to post your question again. I'm really sorry. We must have skipped it. What ends up happening is that, like, I'm looking at the comments on my phone, right? And I think you've run into this problem too. As the comments come in, we start losing the questions that have come up. I can't scroll back up at the top here.
What if they say, why should I go with you? Wally says, Wally, it's all about your offer. Hook story offer, right? That's what Russell always says. It's about your offer. So you need to make your offer more enticing because a lot of people offer the same services. I'm not going to give you exactly how to do that because if I do, everybody else is going to use it. And it's going to be useless to you. But think about why your offer is different, okay? What are you offering? Are you offering training, coaching calls? Are you offering scripts? Are you offering guides? What are you doing that's a little bit different from the other people, okay? Make your offer enticing and people will not compare you to other people.
All right. Come on, Jimmy. Come on. We're waiting for you.
Come on, Jimmy.
Let's go, Jimmy.
Is Jimmy still here?
He just posted. Yeah. He's definitely 100% still here. Aaron says recruiting campaign suggestions. So I'm assuming that is a topic. Jimmy's on his phone now. So
all right, Jimmy. We'll reply to it. How about that? We'll reply to it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just if it's very if it's something you really want to answer, you could always post it inside the beta group as well. I won't let you copy and paste. Sorry about that.
Yeah. We'll jump on it in the comments here. We'll answer it there. So that way you don't have to copy and paste and we can get it taken care of. He says he loves it. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you, says Wally. Wally, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Again, thank you everybody who's here, who's stuck around, who's watching. Hashtag Trooper if you made it this far and you haven't hashtagged it already. Also like, love, heart, comment, all that fun stuff. Because the more engagement.
If anybody knows where I can get a hat like that, let me know.
I don't even know. I'll ask my mother-in-law.
I got to get one of those. We'll do a special edition maybe in August or something like that.
There you go. Rave edition.
The rave edition of Whiskey 30.
So anyways, thank you guys so much. And we will talk to you next week. Shane, here's the wave. When you see that, that's when you end the live.
Whoa. And waiting for the wave. I don't see the wave.
Should see it soon.
Still don't see it.
Still don't see it. Okay.
Do it again.
Wave.
Jesus. That's like the 20-second delay here. Did you wave yet?
I did. Now I've got my light on my fingers. I've got like finger lights.
Okay, there it is. Okay. And I should have ended it a long time